How Cowboys or Eagles can clinch the NFC East in the final 2 weeks. December 25th, 2019. Back on December 22nd, letting you know that this guarantees the Eagles win versus the Giants, NFC East champs, to host a playoff game at the Link. I'm saying this is a football stadium. I don't know if anybody else is saying that or at this time agreeing with me, but it's a football stadium, and there's 5 spikes, 5 teeth, 5 laces, whatever you want to call it. There's 5 of them, and then there's the yellow building painted that's going towards it, even though it goes past it, but it's still going towards it. And then the clock tower over here, William Penn building. And this one here is the Comcast building, because it has like the windows of heaven are open. So this is a football game. And not only that, what was I saying? That it's going to be in the fourth quarter. With 5:55 remaining. So just remember this. It's still going to be the Eagles. I don't know about the Cowboys. 45 points, probably on the next game when they're in the playoffs, playing at Lincoln Financial Field in 2 weeks. So either way, with 5:55 in the fourth quarter, which is 6:66 p.m. It's 7:06 p.m. But see, I don't know what day they're playing now. I don't know if they're playing on Saturday or if they're playing on Sunday, and what time are they going to be playing. But what I do know is there's something about 5:55 being in the fourth quarter. 5:55 is when you know there's barely any time left in the fourth quarter, and a football game, football stadium. Not sure why there's eyeballs in there looking like a face, but it is. Is it like a TV screen? I don't know. It looks kind of creepy. Before the Eagles game, the last one I just played, December 22nd. This is today, Clegg's video. I'm just gonna let you hear what he says first, and then I'm gonna give you 3 reasons as to why. There's only 3 reasons why he could have possibly have said this.
He is literally driving me, telling me, perform, continue vigorously. And so it's like, I don't know, like a football game where you're down to the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, and you've got to just push it through. So anyway, I'm pushing it through, and I should be done, in a couple days.
You got what he said, right?
And so it's like, I don't know, like a football game where you're down to the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, and you've got to just push it through. So anyway, I'm pushing it through, and I should be done, in a couple days.
So it's like a football game. It's like a football game. He's talking today, December 25th. I've been talking in the past few days about, the same thing, a football game. It's like a football game, and What was that, Kleck? You were in the fourth quarter?
And so it's like, I don't know, like a football game where you're down to the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, and you've got to.
So the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. I mean, a few minutes is, a minute is 1, 2 minutes, a couple minutes is 2, a few minutes is 3 or more. So if you're at the fourth quarter in a football game with, because most people are going to leave with about, oh yeah, and then back to that, with about 5:55 in the fourth quarter in a football game with 45 points scored. This is the script. I'm sorry, I took the script out 2 weeks too early. 2 weeks too early. Don't know if it's going to be the Cowboys or not. Now that they're given the options of the Seahawks, I think it'll be the Seahawks. Both of the birds. Both of the birds. It's going to be a battle of the birds. Obviously, it's going to be that way because somebody, I'm not going to say any names, but somebody likes to talk about the birds, because here's an eagle with the wing, with the hair, and here's room 311. 311. It's your 311 walk-in center at City Hall in the William Penn building.
2017, the Trump administration declared a small Chinese bank to be a money laundering concern under Section 311 of the Patriot Act.
311 of the Patriot Act. Washington, the Defense Department warns North Korea could fire ICBM next 24 hours. Issue warning to all Americans.
Hey everybody, Christopher Green, AMTV Alternative Media Television. Please take a moment.
This is from Mr. Fear Porn himself, with his yellow eye in the background. It's a circle. It's just a circle to show you this. It's letting you know this is the eye of the dragon. The eye is right here. So what's going to go into that eye is a burning hot projectile. And of course it's going to go 7,000 miles, because there's a theme that 7,000 men are going to die when one of these missiles hits the stadium. 322. All these videos I'm showing you are recent. It's not like I'm going back any further to pick them out. It's just they're showing you what I've been talking about.
Zircon missile. This undetectable high-speed Russian missile can now be launched from land, sea, or air and travel at quite an extraordinary 7,000 miles per hour. Now, I can only surmise, I've talked about this for some time, this is the reason for the declaration and establishment of a new branch of the U.S. military called the Space Force. Now, the reason for this, notice how...
I've been working on it diligently. It's almost completely finished, and I wanted to go put the eye on the dragon in kind of an artsy way. I'm like, oh wow, Lord, I got all this done. Hey, I'm gonna go.
Last year. Then we sort of let up on the gas to create this generous atmosphere where Kim could reciprocate, but Kim has not reciprocated. So we should be going back to cutting off North Korea's flows of money from the outside. And that means not only sanctioning and vigorously enforcing rules against North Korea, but also going after their sponsors, China, Russia, and to a limited extent South Korea, which wants to get in on the game of helping Kim Jong-un.
And we can't, deny the fact fact that local politics here in the U.S. are a factor in the president's decision-making. You know, a few years ago when Kim Jong-un was testing missiles, the president threatened fire and fury, of course wanting to appear tough. At this political moment, President Trump was just impeached. They've got the re-election campaign heating up into 2020. How might that play into the White House's response to this current moment?
I actually think that the North Koreans have got this wrong.
So back to the reasoning as to why Kleck would even say this, why he would say a football game, why he would say a few minutes left, and why he would say in the fourth quarter. Well,
I don't know, like a football game where you're down to the last few minutes of the fourth quarter and you've got to just push it through. So anyway, I'm pushing.
Number one, he thinks it's funny. Nothing's actually going to happen, but he thinks it's funny to throw out the football talk, the timing in the fourth quarter, because he knows that I would jump and pounce right on it and say, see, I told you. He's talking about it. One option. Another option is he doesn't watch my channel at all. He has no idea who I am. He could care less about anybody. And he's just following through with what he was going to do, whether I was here or not. Or he is paying attention and he knows what I'm saying, and he knows that I'm beating him to the punch. So but he has no choice but to say it anyway, because this was part of his script. Because the church is near 100% no lying completion. NTAG 216. He'll explain it later. But down here, to those that have been awakened, the time V is so obvious that our spirit bears, because the three ribs are in its mouth, the bear cats are coming, witness to the end of all things that are movable. But we are on the rock, and we will stand in the face of, the rest of it. But it's the end of things that are movable. You know what moves? Vehicles. You know when vehicles stop moving? When there's no gas to put in the vehicles. You know when there's no gas to put in the vehicles? It's because the gas station doesn't have it anymore. And when they don't have it, other gas stations don't have it. And when everything starts shutting down, it's the end of all things that are movable. But we are on the rock. So here's your Hard Rock reference. The Hard Rock Hotel that collapsed back in, October 14th? Was it October 14th? Yeah. And the football game, the Super Bowl was going to be played at the Hard Rock in Miami. Miami, Florida? Yeah. So he's giving you the rock reference. Things that are movable are going to stop. It is so obvious that it's almost like you got to be just saying that because, you know what I mean? You hear me talking about it. It's like he's either mocking me, which I highly doubt. So it's one of those three. I'm just going to kind of go with the third, the latter. He's listened. He knows I'm his competition near completion. And if they're this excited over shutting down the truth on YouTube by December 28th, 2019, if they're this excited about that, and I'm even more excited about getting shut down on that specific day, and then whatever happens after that happens. But if he's that excited for shutting down the truth, it's pathetic. It's a shame to be that excited for the truth to shut down when the truth knows when it's going to get shut down anyway, for the purpose of why everything's going to work out the way it does. And then my birthday is 6/28. This guy constantly makes every number count. He's supposed to. Every number counts. And then here's another one. Here's another one.
That's so cool. All right, guys, I love you. And just want to check in and tell y'all I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for everybody. I'm keeping the group in my prayers. I'm asking the Lord to please come quick me, to please give me the strength I need just to endure the rest of this little, this production thing. Okay.
This production thing. This is City Hall, William Penn Building. You see the Christmas tree, right? This is a recent. It's a recent Google. And what they want you to see here is proof of the productions with the 42. 2616 also equals 42. 2616, the Z and the P. He has his little, it's a little production thing going on here. It's a company. It's called Live Terrorism. The Bomb Squad. The Unabombers. That's what they are. They have a face. I'm exposing who the face is.
Thank you. It's like, what? Yeah, thank you for the letters, the cards, and everything. The ministry help, everything. It's made it so much easier. So anyway, I really want to show you the building, but I can't.
I'll show it to him.
Wait. It's going to be awesome. So anyway, and the diverticulitis is like it's gone. The Eleuthero, and then the Lord led me through a couple of other little steps, and I have not had that pain, and it's unbelievable. Talk about a miracle. Because I literally called Corey and thought, I'm going down to the ground.
So here's the second 9/11 with the William Penn Clock Tower. And they're showing you the first 9/11. That over there represents. They're showing you the implosion of the building. That way it's giving you well, that was the first 9/11, here's the second 9/11, but they show that first and that second. And then his eye opens up. And here's the diverticulitis. See the shark, the eye, shark mouth. Here's Kleck. He's the diver going into creating a tidal wave.
And the diverticulitis is like it's gone. The Eleuthero, and then the Lord led me through a couple of other little steps, and I have not had that pain, and it's unbelievable. We know it's not December 25th. So anyway, what I'll do into this video is I'm going to add you a really good link. You guys want to see a really well done presentation?
Yeah.
About Christmas? Yeah. No, this is a really good presentation. So anyway, I just play it on my channel, but I want you guys just to click on the link and go watch this guy's presentation. He did a great job. All right. Happy birth of Christ Day.
Should we click the link below?
Really is day. I love you in Christ. Okay, I got a dog over there. I got it. Anyway, what I'll do to this video is I'm gonna add you a really good link. You guys want to see a really well done presentation about Christmas? Yeah. This is a really good presentation. So anyway, I just play it on my channel, but I want you guys just to click on the link and go watch this guy's presentation. He did a great job. All right. Happy Birth of Christ Day on the not the same day it really is day.
With his words, but by revealing for the first time an unstoppable 7,000 mile per hour hypersonic Zircon missile. This undetectable
7,000 men will be
Russian
slain.
missile can now be launched from land, sea, or air and travel at quite an extraordinary 7,000 miles per hour.
Look, what's going on here is this. I just have to face the facts that all the events that I'm saying are going to happen have already been written, and they just keep putting it more and more in your face. It's about the color yellow. It's about the circle. It's about similarities. If it's similar, I've never heard any of these people mention anything about Philadelphia with William Penn or anything. But they'll mention the Liberty Bell, ringing the bell, Statue of Liberty. They'll talk about Will. They'll talk about Phil. Phil will be the mayor guy or the governor in Jersey City. They say everything else other than the actual place that they plan on sending a missile through the eye of the tower. Because here's how I see it. The tower gets hit twice. Once it gets hit with in the eye from the west. A missile comes from the west. That's why the Seahawks are going to be playing the Eagles in the playoffs, because the Seahawks are going to rise. A beast's going to rise out of the sea, and they're going to come to Philadelphia, and there's the keyhole. They're going to come to Philadelphia, and there's going to be this great explosion. But first, that it could be the last event, but it could also be the first event. It's definitely not the middle event. The football game is either the first or the last. It's not the middle. But the William Penn gets hit once here, and then that way it's not so much of a huge explosion, but it's enough to get people's attention. It's enough to get the streets blocked off. Get the streets all blocked off. And then once this is up in smoke and everybody's away from it, then Laser Beam Johnny, he can send the next missile image from the sky, and then when it hits the appropriate area, then he sets off his explosions, and then this whole thing is leveled. Now, also keep in mind that all these Googled images, who do you think sets them up in place so we can see it? Mother Goddess there that controls the internet. They make sure that we see things like this yellow clock tower lit up, the birds flying in the air. They make sure that when you Google this image here in Philadelphia, that people are going to see the proof of this production company, 442. They make sure that they take these pictures with these things in the way so you can see it. So that way that Christmas tree is up there. That way you know what time it is. Also, you know how during football games they have jet fighters fly over the football stadium? but this time around they actually drop bombs as they pass over. Or it's just letting you know that it's 3 in a row, and it won't be jet fighters, and it will be the 5th trumpet being blown according to the Klekites. But it is at a football stadium with 5 bars of teeth representing the laces, and then there's the yellow church house that Kleck is painting yellow, and again Comcast building up top, and because that's Caddy Corner, and the William Penn building a little bit more to the right. This is the Comcast building. Comcast Center. Lincoln Field, 17th and JFK. Comcast Center. To the right, the William Penn building. This is inside the Comcast Center. Like loves talking about his Red X.
The Comcast Technology Center was designed to utilize the most state-of-the-art building technology available today.
You got William Penn in the mirror. Willie's in the mirror. Willie is right there in the mirror. You can see him here, and you can see that building just off of its reflection. This is the beginning of Broad Street, football field. Lincoln Financial Field, and then down there is the city. Here's the field. Looking down there is the city. Here's the high open tower. That's a beautiful shot there. Just giving you a landmark. Not saying that's going to get hit. I'm just telling you it's a landmark. You know, you got those jet fighters flying over, and the American flag right there. At the beginning, the Z and the P with the tower, the clock tower, the 2-3 bypass, PAS meaning, what is it, slaughter there, Kleck? Like Sergeant Slaughter. The flag being ripped, clock tower 12 times up, flying over. They could possibly say that they were terrorists flying over in airplanes and they dropped bombs instead. This is also near water. It's like off the ledge. And you know, there's other stadiums that are by the water too, but it's similarities and landmarks. Sure, it does look like somebody's upside down, doesn't it? But here's where Broad Street begins. Right at the Navy Yard. Right at the Urban Outfitters. So they can come rise up from the sea over here. Delaware River. But when you have authority, you can just hop up through, you know, where your buddies are and everybody. And then travel north all the way up. I forgot, there was actually 2 Home Depots on 611, 15 minutes apart. One where I live and one in Hatboro. Comes right off the turnpike, which is actually, you can get straight there, you know, when you're taking the turnpike heading from Jersey. Right here. Stadiums right there. It's not that far to start from. Then you have the view of Center City in the background as you're standing here on the Lincoln Financial Field looking straight north. And that's a middle finger. Cleck's giving Philadelphia the middle finger. Right at Willie.